So let's do part 2, right? This is the
don't do a break, nothing. You don't do like a little smoke break,
a little cigar break.
Can I smoke?
Definitely not. See, Zola's the first to say no. So tell me if you remember this quote, and you guys can also chime in if you remember this quote. I'm going to read it. I'm not going to rap it. I've been on tour, yeah? You know what it is?
You're doing poetry now. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I've been on tour, yeah? But I'm received like y'all. Same reaction to the African and strange accent.
Yeah, music for my good eye?
Can you do that part for us?
I've been on tour, yeah.
With the mic close to your lips.
It's the big brother T from the volume. No ab, no ass. Look at him, look at him, see, look at him. From a single mother, gave me what I need, nothing to the right. Nah, I can't remember that shit, come on.
Okay, does anybody remember that part? Okay, I'm gonna...
Well, clearly so.
I'm going to read out the rest of it for everyone's benefit so we can understand what we're talking about. So you say, I've been on tour, yeah? But I'm received like y'all. Same reaction to the African and strange accent. They keep asking me to validate the great talent. And I remain silent for fear that I could cry. That's why I give them nothing else but music from my good eye.
Nigga rhyme good eye with could cry. Oh, good God. Who is that? Good God.
Just some guy. So I think one of the things that jumps out at me is you don't say something in case it reduces you to tears, right? So what are the sorts of things that do reduce Stogie T to tears?
Ooh, Helen.
Let's be honest.
Ooh, Helen. Playing fair now. I need that smoke, yo. No, I mean, I think it's, we're all there's a level of insecurity and vulnerability that comes with being human. I think there are certain things, certain career paths or vocations that one that put you on in the firing squad, and that are a little bit more pronounced than others. And I think when you go on stage and you try to hide things like this in nice rhyme form, you know what I mean? And it's because they're out there because you feel that way. I think that I'm I told you I have thick skin. You're not moving me. You're not moving me. But I definitely I like there are things that I'm a human being, like all y'all. I have insecurities. If it's either your weight or it's either like what you feel where you feel you should be in your life, and you're not there where or I think the level of relationship that you have with your friends or your loved ones, you know what I mean, where you feel like, oh, this could be healthier, this could be, you know what I mean. Those are challenges that are things that they could get you to that, close to that. To that point.
Yeah, they could get you, not you. Just a general you.
Hey, nigga, it's in there, all right? It's in the bars.
Okay.
What you want me to say? Every time people go, yo, please explain this bar. I'm like, nigga, you want me to explain an explanation? The bars is an explanation. The song is an explanation. I'm trying to figure out the world through these bars. You want me to figure out the bars now where I'm trying to figure out the world. Come on, bro.
That's
Figure
exactly
out the
what we
bars,
want.
nigga.
Okay, let's figure out the visuals then, right? Because the cover for that album, right, was incredible because you only show up as a mask.
Yeah.
I mean, your face shows up as a mask that Kutlano or Thuli from Black Rage.
Who was my muse? Do you know that?
Oh, really? What does that mean when you're someone's muse?
It's basically someone who inspires you and who and it might have nothing to do with them. By the way, it's just maybe a thing that they exude that's got nothing to do with them. Like Julie could never understand it for forever. She was like, "Dude, what's this thing?" You
Did
know?
she not think it was creepy?
No, she didn't. It wasn't Me Too movement yet. You know, it was still cool, still healthy, it was still good. But she just thought she was always like I think she liked it.
Okay.
You know, it was coming as cool as tea. You know.
So she
Tea's
was your
hums.
muse in what way? Like when you see her, you didn't be inspired to write?
When I think about her, when I see her, when I think about her, when I think about her like her power. Like for me, her power was always like, damn, yo, this woman is like, they're fucking running culture. You know what I mean? At least in my neck of the woods, you know, they run culture, and she's always so soft spoken. She's always so, but you know from hearing things that yo, she gets shit done. You know what I mean? And she's gorgeous. So you're like, damn, bro, like this is just, you know, I just picture myself eating grapes like an old Greek god, thinking about my muse and painting. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. So for me, she was always like, Kutano always represented, I think something similar to my mother, you know, but if it was my mom, it'd be weird. You know what I mean? So Kutano was
I think
cool.
there's a phrase for that, right?
I cut it out.
There is. Okay, so she's standing there in a suit, right?
Yeah.
And she's holding a mask of your face.
Right.
And it seems like a police lineup situation.
Yeah,
behind
so
it.
the whole thing was it's the album's called Music for My Good Eye, right? And yo, you know, easily, you know, one of the, you know, I mean, GOAT album titles, right?
We got it.
I'm waiting for us to respond. Give it some time. But you late, nigga. You jumped to late, nigga. Anyway, so it's a police lineup, but the idea is that, you know, she's kind of an authority figure, you know, and this, you know, the mask is, this could be real or it could not be real. Ultimately, the world's a hard place, and, you know, here's your little stock suite. Here's your little music for you. Here, enjoy. It's almost like like prison letters, if you may. Like, oh, some guy who went to prison and he died under a terrible regime, and here are the last letters of whatever. So it was like, oh, it's music for my good eye. It was a little diary that was found, but still, you know, Kutlano runs the world, and it's a vicious world, and that was the thinking.
Okay.
I know. You see, that's the thing about.
That's why you don't like explaining things.
That's the thing, because it's like, you know, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are like contemporary artists or whatever, and they always say that they're like, yo, they say nothing, bro. They just use, like, they'll use one phrase and say, yeah, you know, it's like like
abstract.
It's you know what I mean, and then you got to figure it out, you know. But you know, I think sometimes when you explain, it kind of defeats the, you know. But anyway.
No, it's still great. It's still great.
Right.
Okay, it's great. But so that album comes out 2006, right? 2007, you're nominated in one category twice at the Summers. So you're nominated for Best Rap for Good Eye and for that Do Me and the Volume album.
Best group.
No, Best Rap.
Oh, same category.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. Okay.
Oh, so then my question is stupid because Nkuli Flaba versus Nkuli won that album.
Oh.
I mean, that category. But what I was going to say was, so when you discover that you're nominated for two different iterations of who you are. What does that do for you?
I mean, it's still fuck the summers, but you know, I think that it's a cool nod or whatever, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So is Good Eye the first album that comes out on Motif?
Good Eye is the first album that comes out on Motif Records.
Okay. So where does the name Motif Records come from?
From me.
What does it mean?
Oh no, it's just you know, I remember having a discussion with my mother when I was like, yo, I wish I could be like you. You know, my mom just recently retired, you know? And she was like, yo, this is the first time in my life since I was a child that I don't have to answer to anyone. And I was like, dang. She's like, I can walk out the house right now and go buy grapes and, you know what I mean? Whatever, you know what I mean? And stay there the whole, you know, I was like, yo, that's crazy. I wish I could have done that with my life, like gone to work, rapped, come back home.
You do not want to do that. There are people sitting here who will tell you they don't want you to
No. I mean, what I mean by that is, you know, just have the guarantee of the paycheck, be able to do my art the way I want to. But of course, that guarantee comes with certain restrictions, right? So, and those restrictions, some of us can't live with, and a lot of us can't live with. So I told my mom, I said, look, you know how I control the pen or the pencil that I write with, and the paper is mine. I also want to control the music. I also want to control the you know what I mean? So I was like, look, I need to do this thing. So together with a friend of mine, King, we did, you know, we started Motif Records. And it was at the time Fifi. I don't know if you know Fifi, who used to mess with Bafoza and them. She's now with Iapetus, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Rye Blaster.
Yeah, what?
Fifi the Rye. You know Fifi the Rye Blaster, right?
With the what blaster?
The Rye Blaster.
Rye.
Yeah, I don't know what it means either.
RYE.
RAI, right? Rye Blaster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, look now.
Everybody here knows Fifi because she was on Good Eye, right?
No, not Good Eye. Was she on Good Eye? Oh, yes, my Good Eye.
Will the real Stogie T please step into the room?
Oh shit! I forgot, bro. The only credit I'm thinking of is the Tumi in the Volume second album. But okay, yo.
Okay, it's
I
all
need
good.
a smoke, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I need a smoke, bro.
Done.
But yeah, so Fifi, no. So we were trying to get Fifi on the label, and I'd heard her on a Bafoza song, and obviously for my stuff because I wanted to protect myself, and we had the other dude. Oh man, what's this dude's name? Remember that joint with Fifi and this dude? Fuck, what's and you know his name? We did a mixtape called Showcase. Yeah, Come Again. The song was called Come Again. But anyway, so we had a bunch of artists that we're messing with, you know. And that dream kind of fell away when me and King's relationship kind of, you know, like hit a snag.
King is beatmaker.
No, not beatmaker.
Another King.
Another King. You know, our relationship deteriorated, and so we're like, yo. So I was like, yo, I'm keeping this Motif shit, you know. You know, I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't mess with Fifi and them anymore. I was kind of okay. I'm gonna release my music, and then only later, when Bradley was like, "Yo, man, you helping?" He got really mad because I helped the soul. You know, a friend of mine, Vincent Malloy, who does what's the
director?
The director. He does Jovicho,
yeah,
and a lot of other great films. He was at Market Theatre, discovered these guys singing outside, and was like, yo, Bijam, I'm bringing these guys to you. So for like 5 months, I'm sitting with the soul, recording them myself, late at night, you know, recording the soil there, and dropping them off in freaking Protea. Do you know how far Protea is, bro? You know, late nights, and after I recorded them, I was like, yo, look, man, I can't do nothing with this shit because I don't have the bandwidth to do anything with it, but I know someone who could help you. Sipostola really fucks with this kind of shit. He knows where to plug it. So you should probably go see him, you know? So they go and see it. But I told him, I said, look here, you have this recording. This is gold right now. So don't re-record. Make sure you keep this. So Bradley got mad at me. We'll leave that for another day. But Bradley got mad at me because he was like, "Yo, so what? You had the soul, you had these guys," and I was helping a lot of people at the time, just kind of recording guys, you know, because I was, like I said, I was always in the, one thing I've always told even artists later on Motif, I was always like, "Yo, never miss a season." Ever miss. That's why I do a lot of features and whatnot, because I'm like, yo, never miss a season.
And broken down in normal terms, that means just stay active.
Just stay active, because if like a football player will get injured and they'll come back to play, and they just, even if they're as good as they were back then, the sport has moved on. It's a year faster or a year slower, or the pace has changed, you know? So you go, oh shit. Oh. So, you always have to stay on, you ask Zobs, I'm always like, yo, I'm gonna go to the north now. I'm gonna go see what they up to. I'm chill with these trap kids. I'm gonna see what I wanna know what's going on over here, just cause it's like, yo, okay, it's nothing here. Okay, ooh, okay. You know what I mean? To be up on shit. That's why, and this is no flex, although it is a little, but it's like, like a lot of dudes came from the cosign, bro.
I mean, I feel like you got into trouble for saying that at the Sahas, so
Which,
we're gonna get to that eventually. But I was asking you the name Motif.
right?
Where did that come from?
Right, that's what you're doing, huh? No, it's just like a motif is like a smorgasbord of like, it's like a beautiful piece of something, So in my mind, it was always like, oh, Fifi does this weird stuff and rap, and then it was never like a hip hop label, and it never was ever a hip hop label. Motif was never a hip hop label. It wasn't like we make hip hop here. It's not. No, we make hip hop and we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Motif, a variety of things.
Exactly.
Okay, so do you guys know who was on Motif? Who was signed to Motif Records? Not you. I'm kidding.
You don't know?
Yes. So Reason, Zaki Ibrahim, Something Soweto came through there.
Riky.
And Riky, right? And
8 bar short, that's it. Perfecto.
And Perfecto.
That's it.
All right. So
the fridge,
and
yeah,
the fridge. That's so a bunch of people, right?
Tumi,
and I think
Stogie.
Yes. So I think a lot of people always hold on to the Riky thing. And I feel like we all know the story. Mace, you know the story, right? Okay. So we all know the story about what happened to Riky, right? But what I found interesting is that you said what happened to Riky is the same thing that happened to Reason. They were what happened to Reason is the same thing that happened to Riky. They were touched by a God. That's what you said, right? Yeah. So when the God first touched them, what was your plan? What was your plan for them? What was your vision?
I anticipated you were going to ask me about Motif.
I mean, we are giving you your flowers today.
I anticipated it. And I think that, I think the best way to answer the question would be to tell you what I learned from everyone at Motif. And it'll answer your question, So both artistically and personally, I think with Reason, I learned that, I once got a call when after we had signed Reason and we're working with them. I got a call from some brand person who I had a relationship with, and they were like, yo, T, so we're doing this event, and we're trying to, and this is the date. So in my head I'm thinking, okay, this date, I'm definitely available. And then they go, yeah, but we want Reason, eh? In my head I'm thinking they want me, but he goes, we want Reason. And I go, shit. And right then and then, I begin to deal with this thing that, oh shit, okay, so this is what we're doing here. We want this guy to surpass me and reach his heights. You know what I mean? We want him to reach his potential, and that might mean that he pew, you out of here too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I need to accept that, because also the bottom line and the reason we're doing this is because reason success is the company's success. So I have to start to do work on myself personally, to lean into the discomfort, to go straight, to look at it in its eye and go, okay, face it, face the insecurity, face the discomfort, face that shit and deal with it. Because what's gonna happen with the third, fourth, fifth artist you sign? What's gonna happen? You know what I mean? So, and that was a big lesson for me with Reason, where you go, okay, all right, it's a different hat now. It's not. I'm not the rapper competing with Reason. I'm the rapper trying to make Reason the best Reason. You know what I mean? So that was, you know, that was an important lesson for me. You know, through that with Riky, it was, you know, the lesson for me was you have to create a community for yourself outside of your benefactors. So whatever your situation is, you got to be able to maneuver outside of that situation for your own well-being. So if you're signed to a label, you got to have your own relationships that you can leverage for yourself. You know what I mean? So, you know, I remember when we was hanging out with Youngsta, and we went to the club, and Youngsta was like, "Yo, man, introduce me to dude," you know? And I was like, "Nah, you go and say, what's up? I'm Youngsta. I'm here. I'm chilling. If you know, I'm right here next to you. You tell him." Because if I go, "Yo, this is Youngsta," it's, "Oh, Youngsta T's little man." But if I'm not there, Youngsta can go to the dude and say, "Yo, remember I met you as Youngsta me. It wasn't," you know what I mean? So it's very important to have your own thing outside of your outside of your situation. And I learned that from Riky, you know, because we could pull resources from Ricky's relationships outside of the labels. You know what I mean? And so it's healthy for the label, but also it gives you a better kind of footing in whatever you go to, because you have a constituency. You know what I mean? I think with Zaki, you know, the lesson for me was always a globalist lesson. You know, it was like, as much as I'd been traveling with Tumi in a volume, I'd never really met a community like I met in Canada, in Toronto, in Vancouver. And that I met through Zaki and her network, and meeting people like Zaki, people who are in the diaspora, who come from the continent, and understanding that, oh shit, I thought I was a South African guy traveling the world, but I'm actually a South African guy traveling the world, connected to other people in the world who are trying to do exactly. So Zaki would talk about big artists, you know, like Socrates, and big artists that I'm like, you know, I'm like, damn, bro, that's. And she's like, yeah, that's the homie. He likes jerk chicken and blah, 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 you know? Just because she has proximity. Just because, and she made me, she taught me how to just like, he's me. That's me. Like, you know, like, Akon. Akon is me, bro. I'm Akon. The only difference is he got 12 million. I got, you know what I mean?
How much you got?
I got, you know what? I got. That's enough. I got.
All right. No, I feel you. Sort of, kind of answered my question. But let's move on, because the next Tumi album is Whole Worlds, right?
Whole Worlds.
And then earlier you were talking about Sipho's Tole and the division that came with Squatter Camp, and that narrative of, if you're not vernac rapping, then, you know, you're wasting your breath or whatever. So let's talk a little bit about Bambezela, right? Because that's from that album.
Yeah.
So that becomes the point where people are like, are you trying to get closer to South African people by using Zulu words, by using Kwaito artists, by working with a scope that's outside of English rap? Is that what your intention was?
No, I mean you miss what is it? The song I did with Sip on Music for My Good Eye. The now rich. Just like there's a whole Vernac thing there happening, and it's a very dope Vernac thing happening there. I think maybe as far as shifting genres, maybe because Bricks wasn't from a hip hop thing. I think definitely there's a need to kind of connect and bengis ngengela. Honestly, just to say, yo, man, what up though? And it's born, you know what I mean? That's exactly what I was doing, but because I think for me to be doing like the hook, if I had written the hook, it was like I didn't trust the authenticity of it coming from me, So I was like, yo, let me, I've heard some really bad, not bad, but like strong reviews about it, where friends of mine will say, yo, you threw the baby with the bathwater with that one, you went full retard, and I don't necessarily think so, because I think the form of the song is still a hip hop song, but yeah, I mean it's I could still sleep at night. I was a kid. Yeah.
All right. So to wrap up this section, because I know we've run out of time. Return of the King is the album after that. And then you have In Defense of My Art from that album. And you choose to promote it in a way that I guess sparks the tumultuous relationship you have with Twitter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember this promo picture? Okay, so
it wasn't a promo picture.
What was it?
So the video was done, and I had a photographer take pictures. He put pictures on his website. We pulled promo from the video, but he put the picture out. The first time people saw, he put the picture out to promote his website, and the picture was, I feel like, and out of context, because it was just a picture. It was this image, right?
So it was an image of Tumi and two women
on their knees, and I'm holding their ponytails, and they look like dogs, whatever. So I'm in the middle of it. Yeah. So it's like, so then Simpiwe is like, yo, what the fuck, man? Yo, this is unacceptable. Blah, you need to put this down. And I'm like, the picture? What do you mean? There's a whole video. There's a whole song. I don't care. This is not acceptable. Put it down, I'm like, yeah, but you need to engage the music. You need to, no. So it taught me a couple things, It taught me that space, the Twitter space, is a wasteland for the offended, and the easily offended. And also, I think not obviously not every complaint is not valid. It's still valid, you know what I mean? And I was offering myself up to a valid I was like, yo, let's have an open conversation. You can't do it on Twitter, so let's do a thing. I'll pay for everything. Let's do it. Let's create a situation like this where we discuss it. Only Nova showed up. Nova's my artist at the time. I'm like, yo, this is like, I could have this conversation with Nova at home. This is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did understand some things about it. Again, it's like, Twitter is not the healthiest place to engage people. And sometimes I do think, earlier at least, I felt like I was engaging Twitter like these are my people.
Yeah.
But you don't know, man. Sometimes it's like a 16-year-old kid who doesn't know the difference between MC Hammer and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't even know who MC Hammer was, right? But he doesn't know the difference between Wu-Tang and whatever. You know what I mean? Or anything. So it becomes tricky to kind of engage in that space when you don't know. Yo, who are you? What's the context? What's the,
Yeah.
And then so I just resorted to trolling,
Okay.
I just troll everybody.
Yeah.
I just go like, yo, throw a little thing out,
Yeah.
and have them, get outraged.
I get you. So I'm going to take two very short questions before we wrap up our last section. Does somebody have the mic already? Oh. Yeah, because you had a question about the first part, right? So I'm going to come to you when we wrap, because yours is like far now.
I might be going back here, but I just wanted to ask, when you're talking about Motif Records, how do you feel about the statement where people say an artist should never run a record label? How do you feel about that stance?
Yeah, good question. I think it's really unfair. I think it's full of shit as well, because sometimes I've heard like, what's his name? Who's the homie who does the show with Oskido? Rashid says that. Rashid said, like, this is why rappers should not. It's like, nigga, you've never seen a single contract from Cash Time, sorry. You've never seen a contract from Motif. You don't know the nitty-gritties. It's not like we put these deals up like on business day and say, yo, this is what happened. This is what you know what I mean? You don't know shit. And you presume to think, yeah, the reason this whole thing that worked so well, by the way, the reason it fell apart is because artists can't do this. There's so many moving parts, bro. There's like so many things. It might be one of the things. Absolutely, I'll give you that. If you say one of the things might be that rap artists shouldn't run these things. Like I told you guys that the first thing I had to deal with when I had an artist on my books was the idea that this artist is going to become a bigger artist than me. But I had to deal with that personally. Bradley doesn't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Bradley is not an artist. Bradley's like, yo, let's make this paper, I'm like, oh shit, damn, nigga, I'm sitting in my corner alone trying to be like, and then going, all right, nigga, we gonna kill him, fuck Cash Time, you know what I mean? But, nah, I mean, yo, you know what I mean?
So I guess you've answered.
I think I did. I think it's bullshit.
Hello Kitty Bobtail wants to be a sunbathe. Might need an upgrade. Crash.